What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we discuss the mysterious disappearance of Christopher Tompkins. Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Linnea.
I'm Deborah.
And today we are talking about the mysterious disappearance of Christopher Tompkins. Dun dun dun.
But I don't.
As you guys can see if you're watching the video, Deborah and I are in the same room.
Who'd have thunk it?
I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, like in person.
We haven't, not since the last parade we did, I don't think.
Yeah,
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, now that's funny because we do this every week. I kind of feel like I do still see you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah,
not
I know.
in person.
But I don't think of it as a long a time because it doesn't feel
Right.
like it, because I still see you guys by face every week.
Yeah, and I did see you like just the other day. So, but yeah, it's kind of nice. We got to bring back some in person podcast episodes.
I agree.
So how's everybody doing today?
Tired.
I'm exhausted.
It's been a hell of a week, and it's only Wednesday. It's been,
here we are already in
February tomorrow.
The 37th week of January.
You mean the 456?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, it's been a year already. It's been a time, but we got some investigations coming up.
Yes.
So, one of which is a private residence, and we can't disclose, but the other one,
We have a private residence.
the one on Saturday. It's a non-disclosure.
Oh.
The other one, we're going at the end of February. We're going to the Brentwood.
Yeah, that's the one we've been waiting for.
Yes. So it's a restaurant, but it's an old family home, and it's an old boarding house.
I guess you call it a boarding house.
Bed and breakfast in Little River, South Carolina. So, and it's been on some Travel Channel and Discovery Channel and featured in magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all the workers have stories. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
and you can just feel something when you go in the building. Like you could just feel something.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only that, their food is amazing. You saw my pictures from the other night. I had the short ribs, which were like melt in your mouth good.
I want to try their beef Wellington because it does look.
It's
so
delicious. Good. It's gonna cost you a small fortune, but my
yeah.
dinner for one was $70 the other night.
Woo! You buy the plate and I'll smell it.
It's so worth it, though. It really is. It's so delicious.
Gracious. Yeah, the food does look really good there. But yeah, so we've got a couple of good investigations. I'm glad to get back into it. I have missed it. I feel like a daggum crackhead because
You've been Jones in the week. She's tweaking, y'all.
It's been a while since I've had to pull everything out and start charging. I got to see if I'm going to remember everything I'm supposed to be doing.
I mean, I haven't been on an investigation since November, and I know it was before that for y'all. So I'm ready. I'm I'm ready for something. I'm ready to.
Where'd you go in November?
Um.
Where'd you go without us?
No, you were out sick, and
Okay.
yeah, you were out sick, and I
That's
think
when I
you
had
had
COVID.
some stuff going on as well. Um. But yeah, so that was the last one for me. I
Yeah, the
am
last thing I did
ready.
was with Candy and Christy.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm jonesing. But that is not why we're here today. We're here to talk about some a missing persons case.
Yeah, yeah. This is an unsolved case, which has paranormal theories.
Ooh.
Mhm. Which is actually going to make us jump ship towards the end, fall down a rabbit hole, and probably lead us into a future episode.
I don't know if it's going to be any different than this abyss I feel like I'm floating in now anyway.
Well, like we talked about it last night in chat, but uh the world vibe right now just feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just feels weird right now, and I don't know if like Mercury's in retrograde or I
I
don't
haven't had
know.
time to look. I
Yeah,
spend so much time on the computer right now.
I don't know if it's if Mercury's in retrograde or what, but the overall world vibe just feels weird, and I'm not a fan of it right now.
No, well, there's all this talk of war and, whether
Yeah.
it's going to be here, like you said, or, there's just so much different things going on.
Yeah.
And then I was just reading too something about, God, I just saw a post on Instagram, something about them warning about China doing some kind of cyber attack that will physically harm people or something it was saying. I don't even remember what it was.
Jesus. But yeah, let's I kind of feel like that kind of has to be its own episode too. Like
The world
talking
going in the shitter?
yeah, the world going down the drain.
Look at their face.
Yeah. So but yeah, let's hear what you got for us this week.
All right. So, has anybody ever heard of this case or something similar where there was a missing person that theories are paranormal related?
I mean, you hear of I mean, not so much now, but you hear more often than not of people going missing and they're like oh, it was aliens. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think the uh Murdaugh family was
Oh, yeah.
not. I think that he has something dark attached to him because if you look in his eyes, he's got no soul.
That man's just
That's
creepy
just some bad
evil.
genes over there. That's just
Yeah.
some bad genes because they all look like that. And I
I'm
am going to
not.
jump.
Yeah, I'm not excusing it based off of being paranormal, but that my theory is not. I don't think he himself and his soul or lack thereof was acting solo.
I think there's something bad in the water in Culleton County.
Yeah, I think he had some like generational curse on him that made him like I don't know. It's just a theory.
I'm trying to think of the little girl's name. So, a girl that I'm friends with on Facebook, she was just at a bar in North Myrtle Beach not so long ago, and Buster was there.
Mm.
Oh,
And there was some lashback, like people were like, I can't believe you're posting that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's her and him in the picture. They kind of got their arms around each other, and he looks like he's having a grand old time. And everybody's, kind of like, why would you post that? And she was like, until innocent until proven guilty. I'm like, I don't know, man. If my whole family was like killed like that by my father, I don't think I'd be out at the bar having a good time. Like,
yeah,
I don't
no.
think I'd be ready for that. And I
If
certainly
I
wouldn't be
was, I
posting
sure wouldn't be
pictures.
posing for pictures.
Right?
And I'm thinking that's probably the same weekend my husband's cousin, one of her best friends, was in North Myrtle Beach, and they were all out to dinner, and Buster Murdaugh was there with them, and she was sitting right beside him at the table, and they started taking pictures, and she got up and walked away.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Jeff's cousin asked her, said, "Well, why didn't you stay and get your picture made with him?" She's like, "I don't want to be associated with him.
Yeah,
With
right?
everything that's going on. I don't want somebody getting, thinking that I'm okay with what happened or that I'm in cahoots with them and start coming after me."
Yeah, well, like either that or he was celebrating his dad's. They just denied his appeal,
Mm-hmm.
so he was celebrating that or
Yeah,
something.
it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. He shouldn't be out in
Oh
public.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
December 29th at Captain Archie's he was at.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. That's the same weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't be advertising.
Yeah,
I
no,
wouldn't
and
want
I
anything.
mean, he's got
No,
just
Jesus.
bad taste.
I realize life goes on,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
Let
that's
the
a
ink
big
dry.
but.
I mean,
That's a big but.
Let the ink
yeah.
dry and the grass grow back before
Mm-hmm.
you go out and start celebrating. Oh.
But anyway, let's jump into a little bit about our case today. So we're going a little bit true crime because I like that. So we're going to talk about Christopher Tompkins. Christopher was a 20-year-old man who lived with his mother, Ann Mackenzie, in Ellerslie, Georgia. I'm not sure which one that is. He was working as part of a local surveying company when he disappeared. On the 25th of January, 2002, Chris arrived at work around 8 a.m., and he left his car and parked at the office and shared a ride with a coworker to the site where they were working that day, which was located on County Line Road in Ellerslie, again, which is part of Harris County in Georgia. Chris was working alongside 3 other coworkers standing on the shoulder of the road facing the woods that day, and the 4 men were all in a line within 50 feet of each other. Okay, so they're 50 feet. It's not too far. So let's visualize this a little bit because you're going to need to.
Okay.
So 4 men, 50 feet, by a fence, nowhere to go. Chris was last seen at 1:30 p.m. One of his coworkers looked away from Chris very briefly to complete a task, but when he looked back to where Chris should have been there, he wasn't. He literally vanished within seconds. So you have 4 men, 1 goes missing, nobody sees a thing. There's a fence.
And a road. A fence in front of him and a road behind him. So if he was walking down the road, they would be able to see him.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nowhere to go scenario.
Okay. Already my brain's like, that's suspicious.
Yep.
Got,
Okay.
I'm pinning it on one of the 3 friends.
I'm
Well,
I'm I'm
there's
I'm
theory there
getting
too,
Jeepers
but
Creepers vibes where it comes down and
Ooh.
well, all right, keep that in mind, Deborah. All right, so the coworker first thought that Chris may have just stepped into the tree line to go to the toilet, but after shouting for him and not getting any responses, he told the other workers on site. The 3 men then walked over to the place where Chris was working that day, but all they found were his work tools on the ground and one of his work boots hanging from the barbed wire fence.
Literally picked him up out of his shoes.
So now we're throwing in it's a barbed wire fence. So I don't know how likely you are to kind of try to jump over one. And if you did try to jump over
not
one,
if you're
lost your shoe, you'd
smart.
probably try to get it back. And I mean, again, we're talking like
And
gone in a minute.
wait, so they were in Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, were they, sorry, I couldn't remember if you had mentioned it. Were they like out hiking or just
No, they're working.
working?
They
Working.
work on a survey, like a
Gotcha.
road survey group.
Gotcha.
And you said they were on road what?
They were on county.
Looking up UFO sightings on there.
Mm-mm.
County Line Road.
County Line Road in Ellerslie, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You pulling up a map, girl?
Yeah.
The coworker, okay, we did. So they thought he was going to go to the toilet, and they were okay. So they find his boot. The workers then called 911 to report Chris as missing, but the police said that they were unable to do anything until the 24-hour period had passed, which is ridiculous. Chris's mother wasn't informed until 4:15 p.m. that he was missing, and she questioned why it took so long for someone to tell her that he was missing. Once the 24-hour period had passed, the police conducted a search of the area where Christopher was last seen. Close to where his coworkers found his boot, the police found a piece of blue fabric that matched the material and color of the pants that Chris was wearing that day. They also found 12 cents on the ground underneath the fabric, almost as if it had fallen out of his pocket. What are your thoughts
Ellerslie.
on that? Ellerslie.
Okay.
You getting anything good?
No, I ain't getting nothing yet.
So I'm going to bring up a side note that has to do with the change. So David Paulides, have you heard that name before?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where we're going to jump down the rabbit hole later. So David, oh my.
Sorry, talking about jumping down a rabbit hole.
So David was a former lawman turned investigator. He tells us that during his time working with traffic accidents, he has seen shoes left behind by people who were literally hit so fast they were knocked right out of them. He says that logistically, it looks like Christopher was reefed out of his boots and dragged through the fence in such a position that all the coins fell out of his pocket. When gravity drags coins to the ground, it means that the opening for the coins was either facing the ground or the container holding the coins was removed at a great speed. Very similar to the magician who removes the tablecloth without disturbing the cutlery. This means that Chris was either upside down or sideways. What do you think about that?
When he went over the fence or when he disappeared?
Yep.
And obviously no cars came through.
No mention. But again, they said like the guy turned around and turned back and he was gone. Like nothing. And if it was a car that had come by, why would his boot and his pants be on the barbed wire fence with his change by his fabric? Like it's just a very odd. I mean, seriously, visualize that. Say me, you, and Deborah stand on the side of the road. Deborah turns around to point something out to me. We turn back, you're gone. Your boot is on the fence. A piece of your pants is on the fence, and all your coins from your pockets are on the ground. Where the hell did you go?
Somewhere with some force.
But I would hope y'all would come and find me.
We wouldn't wait the 24 hours. We got you.
Bring the equipment and everything just in case.
So there were no other leads in Chris's case until 5 months later when a farmer found a single boot in the swampland at the edge of his property. The boot was later determined to belong to Chris and was found less than a mile away from the place where he was last seen. Chris has not been seen or heard from since, or his body has never been found. Chris's co-workers were questioned by police, but they are not believed to be suspects in the case. However, one of the co-workers did obtain an attorney the week after Chris's disappearance, although no one knows why. The police have publicly stated that they believe Chris just walked away. So side note on that too, I did read somewhere else that one of the coworkers had a record, so that may be why he automatically got a lawyer thinking he was going to get blamed.
I can
because
see
he had
that makes sense.
So that I understand, but I also do know once you start jumping in all the stuff on Reddit, people start throwing around a lot of theories like, something happened and the coworkers didn't want to get blamed for the guy dying and it was a cover-up. Or maybe it was racially motivated. Christopher was black, so, maybe it was racially motivated there have been some things, and like Chris's mother thinks that one of them knows more, and I think that comes up too.
I don't know. I don't know. This is weird.
Unless whatever dropped down and snatched him had his mouth covered up, why would they not hear him screaming?
Girl, if you're snatched up that fast, do you have time to scream? You know what I mean? Like, it might just be like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, think about it. You could be stunned, shocked, like.
Oh, you're right. I have been so scared I couldn't.
So, over the years, there have been several theories as to what may have happened to Chris. So let's talk about some of those.
All right.
One is that he simply walked off on his own accord, as the police say. But why would he take off his boots? And how did he disappear so quickly?
Yeah.
Well, and they would have, if he would have just walked off or even climbed the fence, they would have heard the fence jingle.
Yeah.
Well, he was very
Well, why
young.
would he
Where's he
take a
going?
boot off? I mean, why would you go with one boot?
Well, no, you got to remember. Well, both boots are gone because they find the other one 5 months later.
But they didn't know that 5 months earlier.
Oh, wait,
Right.
where? So they found his other one 5
Mhm.
months later. How far from that specific site did they find it?
I just read that part to you.
Sorry, I was
It's
still
okay.
baffled at like
A
how
mile?
Yeah,
It was like a
less
mile.
how
than a mile, less than a mile
Mhm.
away from the place he was last seen. On the edge of somebody's swampland.
Case closed. He's in the
You know who
swamp.
likes swampland, right?
He's in the swamp. Case closed.
um. So there's also a possibility that a wild animal was responsible for Chris's vanishing. But if this is the case, surely the coworkers would have seen or heard something.
Yeah.
Or you would think there'd be, I don't know, like blood tracks. If he was dragged away, you'd have to see probably something on the ground, right?
Something. Mhm.
Then there are also a few bizarre theories surrounding Chris's disappearance. These are the ones we like. Some think that Bigfoot was responsible. Others have suggested that Chris fell into a time portal, which explains why he disappeared so quickly. Some have even suggested that he was abducted by aliens.
Well, I like the time portal.
So, what do you think about those theories?
He went back to the future.
Oh, I like the time portal theory. I'm a believer in the time portal. I mean,
But if it was a time portal
it wouldn't leave his boots and his pants and his money behind.
ripped on barbed wire, and not
Well,
only
he
that,
ain't
like,
gonna buy nothing in the future with 12 cents.
I
He
mean,
can't
the
even
portal's
get a
actually
thought with
magically
that.
open.
Wait, what year did this happen?
Uh,
He went to Biden's future.
2002.
2002.
2002. Okay. Yeah,
Was that 22 years ago?
he went to Biden's future.
Who was the president? Bush?
Yeah, George Bush.
So the portal too, I kind of feel like I don't like they don't just magically appear out of nowhere and snatch you up like that, right?
No, but it'd be
So I
cool
don't
if they
know.
did.
No, don't you either fall into or walk through?
Yeah.
So what do you think about Bigfoot versus alien here?
I okay, so I have actually heard, I don't know names, but I have heard of instances where like hikers will disappear and
We're gonna
they
be
might
heading that way.
find their bones or remains like several miles off trail in like a weird little nest like area
Yeah, but that's different. I mean, this guy disappeared
completely.
out in
Now
the
it's
open
daytime
with other
too.
people around.
I kind of feel like don't you feel like most alien snatch ups are like after dark?
Yeah. And if there's barbed wire on the fence, we're gonna guesstimate the fence being roughly at least 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
At least.
From the ground to the top of the
So
barbed
what do
wire.
you think? How big do you think Bigfoot would actually be? Would Bigfoot be able to grab over a fence like that and his belongings?
No.
Nah.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nah.
Absolutely not.
Think.
I think I have heard of some instances of like seeing Bigfoot and people were like, he was 10 feet tall. But
Hell, if I've had enough to drink, you 10 feet tall. I mean, everything looks taller from a distance as well.
yeah,
I mean,
they're like, he's easily 10 feet tall. But yeah, I don't think Bigfoot could have reached over the fence. But then again, was his shoe found on the other side of the fence?
It makes it kind of sound like it was on top.
But I mean, the other shoe that they found 5 months later, was it on the other side of the fence?
They don't say. They just say on somebody's swampland, edge of somebody's swampland.
Details, people. We need details.
It's actually kind of hard to find stuff. So, like, I was trying to look up more, and yeah, it is kind of like, oh, look at, hold on, Deborah's got something.
pterodactyls got him.
Well, now that one wasn't on the table yet, so I don't know. We'll have to run it by them.
Ooh, okay. New theory. What if it was the Carolina Thunderbird? Have you heard of them? Yeah.
I don't know. Where is this? Where is this county in Georgia? How close to the Carolinas is it?
Parts
Harris
of
County?
it's been seen in parts of Georgia, North and South Carolina, and into Virginia and into West Virginia.
I've never heard this one. How come you haven't done it yet?
Lord have mercy.
All right. So
You know dinosaurs exist. They still here.
I mean,
still here. They hiding in the swamp. So let's go back to, remember I mentioned the investigator who brought up the coins.
Yes.
You're going to want to get your Googling fingers ready because we're going to look up some stuff. You're going to need a bigger finger than that. All right. So let's talk a little bit about David. His last name is Paulides. He was a former police officer who is now an investigator and a writer known primarily for his self-published books dedicated to proving the reality of Bigfoot and establishing the Missing 411 conspiracy theory.
Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one.
That's where we're going.
That one's a good one.
Missing 411 is a series of books and films which document cases of people who have gone missing in national parks and elsewhere and assert that these cases are unusual and mysterious, contrary to data analysis which suggests that they are not actually statistically mysterious or even unexpected. Y'all, you got to go look this guy up on YouTube. His channel, and my computer went bonkers before. Throw his name into there and his channel will come up with, I mean, he's got cases going back into the 70s. He's got United States and Canada. He's kind of got stuff broken up by different locations you can look up. It's all close-lipped. Like I was trying to Google him talking about this particular case because obviously he did write about it, but it's all stuff you got to pay for. You can't get any tidbits.
What is
outside of what you've
seen? Is it Can-Am Missing Project?
Yep. Yeah, looking at it. And of course, if you throw Christopher's name into TikTok too, you're gonna get some videos.
There's so many.
But I figured once we moved on to this Missing 411, that's gonna open up a whole another conversation.
Yeah.
So
and I've had that one. I've had Missing 411 on my list for a while, and so I'm glad we're touching on it a little bit.
Well, I figure we can kind of move that into a whole nother episode.
Oh, for sure.
So, what do you know about this guy? Like, do you think he's legit? Do you?
I think. I mean, I like his. I mean, there's so many people that go missing in the woods and national parks, and the paranormal theory behind it is very fascinating. The one that I'm most familiar with is the Stairways to Nowhere, which is what
you were going to do.
That's what I was going to do. Yeah, so I'll probably do that my next episode, and which essentially, I mean, I'm not going to give it away. If you know, you know.
Well, I don't know.
But I like that's the one that intrigues me the most because it does go back to kind of the just poof disappear thing.
Yeah. Well, let's fill people in a little bit on the Missing 411 for the people who've not heard anything about it. So again, this is a series of self-published books and 2 documentary films documenting unsolved cases of people who have gone missing in national parks and elsewhere. According to David, his work on the subject began when he was doing research in a national park and an off-duty park ranger found him and expressed concern about questionable nature of some of the missing person cases which occurred in the parks. The ranger knew David's background and asked him to research the issue. David obliged and asserts that he uncovered multiple lines of evidence suggesting negligence on the part of the Park Service in failing to locate the missing people. He broadened his investigation to include missing people from across the world, and this led to his belief that he has uncovered a mysterious series of worldwide disappearances, which he has said defied logical and conventional explanations. As of August 2021, David has written at least 10 books on the topic. According to Sobering Coincidence, he does not yet have a theory on what is causing the disappearances, although he indicates that the field of suspects is narrowing. David advises his readers to go outside of their normal comfort zone and determine who or what is the culprit. His books publicize the fact that U.S. National Park Service does not keep an independent list of people that go missing in their parks. That's kind of crazy. While there is a database for incident and criminal reports, it is not widely or consistently used as it doesn't interface with other criminal databases. In response, a petition was created to make the department accountable. The interest in the book series prompted the creation of a documentary film based on the missing 411 books. This film was released in 2017. Images of the maps made by David regarding his theory have been frequently shared on social media. The theory has also gone viral on, of course, the TikTok.
Good old TikTok.
Kyle Polich, a data scientist and the host of the Data Skeptic podcast, documented his analysis of David's claims in the article Missing 411 and presented his analysis to a skeptic camp held in 2017 by the Monterey County Skeptics. He concluded that the allegedly unusual disappearances represent nothing unusual at all. And are instead best explained by non-mysterious causes such as fallen or sudden health crises leading to a lone person becoming immobilized, off-trail, drowning, bear or other animal attack, environmental exposure, or even deliberate disappearance. But for saying all that, they're still disappearing at the end of the day. If they have if they fall off a cliff, they're still going to fall somewhere. They're not going to disappear. You're going to find a dead body.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Is he a loony or is he onto something?
No, I think he's onto something. I mean, I'm
surprised the government's not after him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or are they? Well, I mean, the government does. When it's something like this, they just make you look crazy, no matter what. You know what I mean? They'll have writers that will come out and, discredit and all that stuff.
He's not hit on the right one yet.
Yeah.
When he hits the right case, that's when they're going to come in.
All right, here's a theory for you. What if you have... What if? Shut up. What if you have so we know that, national parks are run by the government.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if the people that go, we know based on this, tons of people go missing in national parks every year. What if the people that go missing have some ties, or not ties, but have uncovered some sort of conspiracy secret connection, and the government found out, and they use the national parks as their graveyards?
Possible.
This is just speculation, by the way. We don't know a damn thing.
Yeah, if the Vatican and everybody they haven't come after us yet, we're probably good. We went run controversial right from the beginning.
Yeah.
I have seen nothing. I have heard nothing.
I've said nothing.
I have said nothing.
I don't know nothing.
Actually, it's only me typically saying, isn't it?
My name's Bennett, and I ain't in it.
But I mean, seriously though, like, what if it's like they use that as like oh, you uncovered something? You know what? Why don't you go? What if they subliminally? Okay. How often in everyday life are we like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go hiking at the national park. Specific XYZ, whatever.
You're stumbling across pieces and parts of 12 bodies.
Well, I mean, like, I know me for, like, I would love to go to these state parks, but I don't I don't have I'm not gonna just wake up one morning and be like, you know what? I'm gonna travel to all the state park or all the national parks in my state. How unless people are going on a family vacation and they're doing educational stuff, like you don't
No, but in
really.
the state parks too, you get a lot of road trip people because you can camp, you can dry dock overnight in the national parks without setting up, so you can stay
Right.
for free instead of having to stop at campgrounds. So you're going to get a lot of people passing through.
Passing through, but I mean,
But
how
I'm saying
often?
like staying overnight in the middle of
Yeah,
nowhere. Like part of the reason people like staying in the state parks is because they're not in a campground next to other people. You're
right.
under the stars in the dark by yourself.
Yeah, but I mean,
And not
how
people
often do you
around you.
hear people say that aren't RVers or that aren't families going on field trips for school that just go, you know what, I'm gonna go hike this state park XYZ. So my theory,
Yeah.
what
Mm,
if? I mean, I
that
would
is.
I would love to, but I can't travel to all of them. But what if they found this secret, right? The hiker found out this secret or whatever, and the government's slowly. We already know that they have AI technology that can do. What is the term called? Where they can make somebody look like somebody else.
Clone.
No, not cloning. It's something dark masking or something like that.
Mm.
Um, so we already know that they have the ability to make somebody look like somebody else, or So what's to say that they have the ability, that they don't have the ability to use some subliminal advertising on these people, so that they're like, you know what, I'm going to the park and I'm gonna hike for 5 days, and then all of a sudden they just vanish.
Well, hold on. What if
Whoop.
national parks, which are state parks, are some kind of dark energy to begin with? So you were saying like how many people disappear or whatever. So when I first started listening to the true crime podcast, I used to listen to Delia D'Ambrose Park Predators podcast. Now she has multiple seasons, and the whole podcast is just about people who are killed and disappear in national parks. So it's a ton.
Right.
Let me see if I can see how many episodes she has. I mean, so what if there's something dark? Like, I mean, why are so many people killing in national parks?
Right.
People are going
I
missing.
mean,
People are
what if
getting
it's
killed.
what if it's well, I mean, think about it. What if?
A lot of what ifs tonight.
Yeah, but what if the different uh governments of the world? So we have the Vatican, right? We have um the U.S. government. What if the different governments of the world are not necessarily run by their own, like we talked about in the White House episode and in the Vatican episode? What if they're being influenced by something a little bit something darker, and this darkness? What if the national parks make up some sort of portal, in their connection line?
It's like the purge up in there. Anything goes. You're allowed to get away with crime because that's what seems to happen.
And pterodactyl.
You hear about the people dying. How many people you actually hear getting arrested for killing somebody in a national park?
Right. It's
Maybe they're like,
rumble.
let them just take out some of the population here. We don't need that many.
Right.
I'm just, if y'all catch me camping in a national park and somebody misses, it goes to missing, I'm going to be on the news telling them all that the dingo ate my baby.
Listen, not for nothing. We're staying in a state park. I'm sleeping closest to Deborah because she's the one I think is going to protect me the most. Like, I'm going to be jumping under a table.
Look,
everybody else is going to be running away screaming. At least I know if somebody's coming to take me out, Deborah's got my back.
I got you, girl. I got you.
I don't run away screaming. Look, if we
Deborah's
No,
my
but I can see her dipping in behind me.
Look, I can cast a big shadow. I can bow up when I need to.
Oh yeah.
I can bow
Oh
up.
yeah.
But
I just have right between the two of you. You're a lot taller than me, and she's packing.
yeah, And I can be too. It stays in my glove box, but
it don't do you no good in the glove box. I told you.
But yeah, I can bow up when I need to. So I like camping in tents. I mean, I like
I'd rather be in my RV.
I like putting my survival skills to use.
Well, you can do that in a
I
camper.
don't want to lay on the ground.
You can do that in a camper.
I can.
Uh-huh.
Can I go out there with my flint and go?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go outside and start a campfire in front of your RV, and then you can go back in nice inside and use your toilet and sleep on a bed.
Be comfortable.
Yeah, because just as soon as it dries up,
You'll
somewhere
still feel
we
like
can
you're
get back
camping last time.
in the hunting club. We're gonna go camp.
Oh we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go camping in the RV.
You got to get a babysitter
A babysitter for my adult children.
for your dogs.
Dogs.
All right, so first of all, and I know we've kind of off track just a smidgen, but I saw something on TikTok the other day that kind of blew my mind. So we did an episode a while back about the Denver airport. So, if you've ever looked at a map of the national parks, which I just pulled one up here, all right. Also, all across the United States, this is what I saw on TikTok. All across the United States, we've noticed that we've had more earthquakes in the western part of the country, right? And this might be bullshit. Who knows? But we've
the Eastern too. I mean, was it last year or 2 years? It was within the last 3 years. South Carolina, close down by Charleston, was having them a couple of them.
Well, the fault line runs right through Charleston, but it's not as announced here
out west. Yeah. So out west, we hear of a lot of earthquakes. Well, out west, there's also an underground tunnel system. Well, I was watching this TikTok video the other day, and all of these tunnels seem to converge right underneath Denver.
When I'm pulling
Also, where the tunnels are is where a large cluster of
that's what I was looking at a minute ago.
Of national parks are. So why do they need so many tunnels? They're secrets.
Because you read the book.
They got secrets.
For the underground government facilities that we don't get to go in when the rest of the world dies.
Lizard people. The lizard people. I mean, it's just this episode. It's just opened up my brain.
See, I knew we were gonna spiral off once we started talking missing 411 and all that. See where?
I'm gonna try and find that picture of the underground tunnels.
I'm looking at where all of the national parks are on the map.
What's the closest one to us?
National park?
Why doesn't it tell me what the parks are? It just shows a tree to tell you there's a park. Let me see if there's a list. There's one in South Carolina. And then the next one is on the state line of North Carolina and Tennessee.
So I found a map, and I'll have to send it in the chat, but there is it's the underground tunnel system, and
it's called a deep underground military base.
Yep.
Dumbs.
And let's see. Look at that cluster right underneath the airport.
I can't read that. South Carolina State Park is something with a C.
Are you looking state parks or national park?
National. national park in South Carolina is Congaree.
Mm-hmm. Congaree. That's upstate.
Hungary.
And then we got the Great Smoky Mountains over by North Carolina, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've been there.
It's funny, that there are so many on the West Coast and not like so many on the East Coast.
Right.
And there's none in Pennsylvania, which is literally like so much forest. I can't believe there's nothing over there. And Pennsylvania's a big state. I'm surprised there's none.
Yeah, because they do a lot more on the West. I mean, think about it. It all seems like they're rallying around Area 51.
Well, when you were reading the book and they talk about the underground government facilities, what state did they say that was?
Area 51.
Wasn't there another one too?
I think it was Utah. No, was it Utah? Utah,
I gotta go
Nevada.
back and read. It's
Yeah, I have
been
to
a
go.
lot.
I'll have to go before we do that episode. I'll have to go back
Oh yeah,
and
you gotta
listen
give
to
me
it
time to
again.
I
read
have to
too.
force myself to listen to it because that man's voice is just.
Just read the regular book. You can read it online for free.
Yeah, I think it was. I want to say it was Nevada. And
Let's see.
Nevada and yeah, if yeah, that book's crazy though,
Love it.
and it's a quick read.
I know what part I listened to the other day. I was like, holy.
Yeah,
I like the way the actual book looks because in the actual book, it's they'll show you like one page might just be like a government document, even
Mhm.
though you know a lot of it might be redacted, so
right.
you can see a lot of the paperwork.
Yeah, it's oh man, this is there's so many. They are all connected.
Everything is connected. Everything is connected.
Everything, and then when we do the 411 episode, it's gonna be a crazy spiral.
That'll have to be all three in person.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry.
No question. I was just saying, so that was kind of my thing today, leading from true crime to who the hell knows what happens to him. Did the
I
ground eat
mean,
him? Big Squatch snatch him?
you say
Did
big
the aliens
squatch.
get him? The big Squatch? Listen, I told you, it's been a long day.
I told you what happened to him.
Big squatch got him.
No.
Pterodactyls got him.
Pterodactyls got him.
Yeah, I was listening to that.
You ain't never seen Jurassic Park?
Heck yeah.
I love Jurassic Park. I
That's
watch it while I go to bed.
That's one of my favorite movies, the original. I don't know. It's just me personally. I would like to know. I would like to know the evidence that allowed the coworkers to be free of charges. And
Well, I honestly, so there was 4, right? So
yeah,
he disappeared. There's 3.
right.
If 3 people are all saying the same story,
But I
they
mean,
don't
what
have any
if?
evidence saying else. What you're proven until
Yeah,
innocent until proven guilty. But if there's no evidence besides a boot and there's no blood,
that's
there's no
true.
body, there's nobody saying that they drove down that road and seen anything. It's literally like poof, gone.
I mean, well, like, what if they? I don't know. I mean,
somewhere along the way, bibbidi bobbidi boo happened.
Somebody knows something. I don't know. I don't know, but it's just
he pulled a John Cena.
it's really weird, and I would like to see as we get into the missing 411 411 episode. I'd like to circle back and see if they're, I mean, even though it wasn't in a national park, was it, right? Right.
No, and it says that he investigates for missing national parks and other places.
Right. So I'd like to see when we get into, because that one I feel like is going to be a super, super thorough episode. I'd like to see if there's correlation between how he went missing and like his effects that were left behind versus others.
Interesting.
But off the top of my head, I feel like the coworkers know more than they said.
That's what the mom thinks. The mom thinks that they know more than they're saying.
I think that, I mean, how easy would it have been, right? Say, because they didn't have a supervisor out there while they were surveying or doing whatever.
Not unless one of them was a supervisor.
Cars weren't driving by, right? So, like, who's to say that, like, this kid didn't owe them money or they were just, it is Georgia. I mean, they were just racist assholes.
You said he had been in trouble with the law before. Had he pulled time in prison?
Not the little boy. I'm sorry, he's only 20. The coworker had a previous record.
Oh, okay.
One of the
okay.
was like the one that flared up.
I mean, what's to say? Like, obviously there was no blood, so what's to say they didn't like do something and then lift them up?
When you see people surveying the road, there has to be. He goes into work at 8:00. He takes a ride from the office to the location with the coworker, right? He is last seen at 1:30 p.m.
You're in the middle of nowhere. If another vehicle's coming down the road, you're going to hear that car coming from miles.
There's going to be vehicles on a road. I mean, if they're surveying a road, if the road is being surveyed, it most likely is a road with traffic on it at some point. You know what I mean? I'm not saying busy traffic, but if a road is being surveyed, there's most likely cars, and that's between 8:00 and 1:30. People going on their lunch breaks. There's going to be cars on the road. Somebody would have had to see something. I mean, that's pretty. You're going to kill somebody. You don't just do it openly on the side of the road with a fence barrier.
Why, that's the best time to do it. Apparently.
Let's cover up.
I thought the pterodactyls did it.
That's the best time. Apparently.
Where do you go if you want to hide from a dog?
Up a fence.
Under his nose.
That's true. I hide from Blanche all the time when she likes playing hide and seek.
Now again, so they last see him at 1:30, according to the reports, but they don't tell his mother until 4:15. But it says they looked for him briefly, but then they called 911. But it doesn't say what time they called 911.
Well, did they look for him? Did they go over the fence?
They said they were calling his name just in case he had to go into the tree line and pee. So I'd have a hard time figuring that too. So they're on a road. There's a barbed wire fence, but there has to be some trees closer to the road too, because it said, did he go behind a tree to pee? I don't think they thought he climbed a barbed wire fence to go behind a tree and pee.
That would have been something. He's like, hey guys, I'm over here. I mean, what if they, see, I would have been like, those survey guys have a toolbox in their car. I would have gotten some cutters.
They said they found all his tools on the ground.
See, I would have gotten some cutters, cut a hole in the fence, and been going through that way looking for them.
Yeah, I don't know if a survey needs wire cutters.
Well, it ain't doing them no good otherwise. Oh, Lord. I got some things to think on.
If I go to missing, somebody's took me. Y'all look for me.
We'll go right away.
We should all get some kind of air tag on each other.
Yeah.
So we can find each other if one of us disappears.
We got the Life 360.
That's only good if you're holding your phone though.
True. Well, at that rate, it's coming. At the rate that we're going, it's coming with some sort of tracking device.
Well,
I won't be getting it.
I seen last night where they were doing something putting something inside you.
Your brain.
You bet. Nope.
Elon Musk already put the first chip in.
Good for him. He can have it.
Nope. I don't want no part of it.
He can have it.
Oh, not on him. On other people.
Oh,
nope.
Well, good for them. I'm not.
Neuralink.
Neuralink.
Brain implant.
Yeah, that's gonna end badly. That's gonna end bad.
Chip installed by a robot will then record and send brain signals to an app, with the initial goal being to grant people the ability to control a computer cursor or keyboard using their thoughts alone. I'm sorry, but that's some scary shit.
No kidding.
Y'all don't want me controlling anything with my thoughts. I can promise you that.
What sucker believes that that's for you to control something? That's for them to control you. Anybody who gets that put in, well,
that's an episode for another day.
Yep.
Nope.
Lord, yeah, no. Thank you for sending us down this rabbit hole, though.
I told you it was going to happen today.
I got a lot of things to think about.
Digging.
Oh, Lord. Well, you got anything else for us?
That was it.
That was a good one.
That was a great one. That was a great one. Deborah, it's your week next week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to attempt our...
I don't know.
You don't know? You might switch it up.
I might.
Names that should not be said out loud.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I might just switch it up.
Switch it up, girl. So we don't know yet what we're doing next week, but we'll figure it out. And then we'll be...
Sorry, Maisie's on the ground on her back and she's like this. She's going like this. She's like literally
Is that
like...
her? Is that her we hear?
Yeah.
She's
like rubber paws and her face all crazy.
It felt so good, Mama.
It looks like she's trying to play peekaboo.
Mm.
What are you doing, silly?
Blanche does that too. But no, that was a great episode. I enjoyed that one.
I thought that would be fun.
Yeah, and I can't wait to do the missing 411.
No, I know.
So, well, y'all let us know if you guys have any theories about what happened to Christopher Tompkins,
or if you were ever kidnapped by pterodactyls or big squatch or
aliens. Let us know.
Fell through a portal somewhere. Let us know.
Good old Big Squatch.
Big Squatch.
That's what I'm gonna call him from now on.
Yep, Big Squatch.
But yeah, so yeah, just let us know. Let us all of the above. And if you have a story to tell, send it in on listener submission.
She does not look happy.
Look
at her. She's giving some side eye.
All damn day. Get off.
She's giving some side eye.
Right? He said it's time for you to go.
But well, hibbity, that's all, folks. There y'all have it. The mysterious disappearance of Christopher Tompkins. And until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?
Bye.
Bye.